Time is running out for this conflict. They are the direct words from the Iranian Speaker of the Parliament, because this ceasefire is on a knife's edge and this whole thing might erupt very soon. So we're going to be talking about this time that is running out in this video, what Trump has been saying, what Trump has been tweeting, where are we exactly sitting right now on both sides. And we're also going to be talking about an internal front Trump has opened up against his own side as this fracture within the right wing opens, because this honestly is probably the thing that will change everything about this conflict. If this fracture becomes too big, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Strait of Hormuz. How much traffic is actually going through? Is JD Vance telling us the truth right here? Plus an absolute ton more, including a ticking time bomb at the end. So are things actually too late for this whole conflict? Does the world need to know that a bomb has already been dropped and it's just a matter of time before it explodes? We'll talk about that, plus the financial markets at the end. So if you guys enjoy it, just like the video. Appreciate every single one of you guys who drop likes. We aim for 10 likes and 100 views on the video. So if I get that, I'll be happy. We're trying to grow the channel and I'm trying to give you guys the best value intel you can get, frequently as well. So let's get straight into the video. So time is running out. What is he talking about right here? He's talking about Lebanon, right? So Lebanon at the moment is getting absolutely pounded by America's ally, Israel, and no agreement has been reached. So this, according to both Pakistan and Iran, was supposed to be in the original ceasefire agreement. They said, Lebanon is part of this ceasefire, but that hasn't turned out to be the case, because at the moment, Lebanon is getting absolutely pummeled with missiles and bombs, and Iran might just, maybe things change very soon. So any moment, Iran might send missiles and drones again. And he is hinting right here, again, fresh tweet, 1.2 million views. Time is running out for this. Not only time running out for the ceasefire, but also time is working against Trump to some degree. So some analysis out there has pointed quite correctly that the Persian Gulf, Iran, these islands, this is like a desert and it gets hot right about now. So April, May, June, July, it gets very, very hot. So April, you're looking at very hot temperatures where, it's going to start to go above 100 degrees Fahrenheit on average. In May, many coastal islands in the Persian Gulf can reach 108 degrees Fahrenheit, 117 degrees Fahrenheit. And exposed metal can hit 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Vehicle interiors reach 176 degrees Fahrenheit. And everything just explodes in terms of temperature. So you have to remember, the logistics of conflict. People have to carry equipment. It's hot, sitting on a desert island with no shade. Wow, it's a different world completely. And that might work against a ground invasion potentially. But we'll see exactly what plays out very soon. Now, Trump has been launching missile tweets of his own over on Truth Social. And he says right here, Iran is doing a very poor job, dishonorable, some would say, of allowing oil to go through the Strait of Hormuz. That is not the agreement we have, President Donald J. Trump. So we do know at the moment, all the parties are disagreeing about Lebanon. Lebanon has been attacked, and as a result, the Strait of Hormuz trickling, very much closing to pretty much a trickle that we'll talk about later in the video. And you can see right here another fiery tweet coming out of Trump. He says, all U.S. ships, aircraft, and military personnel with additional ammunition, weaponry, and anything else that is appropriate and necessary for the lethal prosecution and destruction of an already substantially degraded enemy will remain in place in and around Iran until such a time as the real agreement reached is fully compiled with. If for any reason it is not, which is highly unlikely, then the shooting starts, bigger and better and stronger than anyone has ever seen before. It was agreed a long time ago, and despite all of the fake rhetoric to the contrary, no nuclear weapons and the Strait of Hormuz will be open and safe. In the meantime, our great military is loading up and resting, looking forward actually to its next conquest. America is back. Now, this is the point of contention, which many people disagree with. People don't agree with what Trump has been saying. They don't agree with where the party has been going. And this has actually opened up into a massive form of fracture, right? So not only has NATO not been on board with this, Trump is still trying to pressure NATO countries the Europeans to get involved in this conflict, and they don't seem to be buying it. But also, there's been an internal fracture that has opened up within his own party. I mean, we've been talking about this previously, but there is a big, a lot of original Trump supporters no longer support Trump. They have, taken the stop on the MAGA train, and they've just got off and they said, I don't want any more of this. And Trump has led an offensive right here. I'll read the first bit of this tweet. But you guys know this is like an essay, a Trump essay, probably sent off at like 4 a.m. in the morning or something. But let's read out the important stuff, and I'll give you the important take about this, because this could potentially flip the whole conflict if you have a deeper understanding of politics. But let's read it out. He says, I know why Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones have all been fighting me for years, especially by the fact that they think it is wonderful for Iran, the #1 state sponsor of terror, to have a nuclear weapon, because they have one thing in common: low IQs. They're stupid people. They know it. Their families know it. And everyone else knows it too. Look at their past. Look at their record. They don't have what it takes. They've all been thrown off television, lost their shows, and aren't even invited on TV because nobody cares about them. They're nut jobs, troublemakers, and will say anything necessary for some free and cheap publicity. Now that they think they get some clicks because they have the third-rate podcast, but nobody's talking about them, and their views are the opposite of MAGA, I wouldn't have won the presidential election in a landslide. MAGA agrees with me and just gave CNN 100% approval rating of Trump, not hand-flailing fools like Tucker Carlson, who couldn't even finish college. And then it just goes on. So I'm not going to read the rest, but one important thing to understand is there is a massive fracture, right? People are getting off the Trump train. They're trying to set a geopolitical strategy that is not going down this pathway of, Iraq 2.0, Afghanistan 2.0. And Iran potentially has the potential to be like the Iraq War 2.0, where, if this thing goes through, you got to think long term. You got to think through the strategy. I mean, what has America won from the Afghanistan war? Nothing. They lost, and they lost thousands of troops, trillions of dollars, and now they've left, and they're not even in control of Afghanistan, right? Even in Iraq, if you have a look at Iraq today, a lot of the missiles coming in during this conflict have been from Shia groups in Iraq. So the Iraqis don't even like the Americans, and they've had to vacate bases there. So, one thing a lot of people are saying is, it's actually low IQ to repeat the same strategy. So if you think you're going to come in, and Trump even said it again, like he thinks he's going to come in and conquer Iran. You haven't even conquered Iraq, and you haven't conquered Afghanistan. And people are trying to point out, there is definitely a different strategy you can take. So you can take like a more, the Chinese are doing it at the moment, an economic prosperity strategy where, you trade, right? You negotiate, you do deals, you provide expertise, and you get natural resources out. The Romans used to do it as well. This is just I call it the dumb destruction and backfire strategy, where you destroy stuff, and then it comes back and actually makes you poorer, and actually makes your countries less safe. So remember, there's a whole type of civilian issue that could also come out from this. If you destroy Iran, where are they going to go? They're going to come into Europe? Does that make Europe stronger, or does it make Europe more unsafe? Lots of people kind of flooding in there. So you have to think big picture about these conflicts. So I'd actually disagree with Trump. I think this is the low IQ strategy. I think Tucker Carlson has a lot of valid points of view. And I think if this kind of, this independent side they're putting out good opinions, but there's no real political party yet. So if this does form into some type of political party, political movement, this is where the whole game gets flipped. And this is the only part where it can get flipped as well. So we're going to have to watch where this goes, right? It's because this is the Achilles heel of the geopolitical strategy. So we're going to watch to see how this plays out, but the battle will really be politically in America. That's what people need to think about long term. And you can actually see proof right here. These are Trump fans over on Truth Social. And if you want to pause it and read the comments, you can right now, but people are just not happy, right? They're not buying what Trump is selling. And they're calling him out right here, over even on his own platform right there. And having said that, what's the truth about the Strait of Hormuz right now? Is it actually open? Let's listen to JD Vance. Is he going to give us some facts and truth from one of the highest places of the US presidency? Let's listen in.
Mr. Vice President, Iran Iran is continuing to block the Straits of Hormuz. Do you have an expectation of when that strait is going to be opened?
Well, we've already seen an increase in traffic today. Hopefully we'll see an increase in traffic tomorrow. We actually think that we are seeing signs that the Straits is starting to reopen. I think you guys have probably seen oil prices have come down. So I think the oil markets, the gas markets are seeing the same thing.
So that is what JD Vance is saying. But what is the evidence saying? What are the facts saying? And have a look at this graph. This is the Strait of Hormuz traffic, live vessel tracking. And as of yesterday, 9th of April, when JD Vance was speaking, it actually hit, record lows. So it's sitting at three tankers crossed, and they were fully under, what Iran said. And Iran gave the green light to them, but you're actually seeing, a massive slowdown in traffic, right? You can actually see some GPS tracking right here in the background. This thing is shut. This is effectively closed, and you have to understand the damage that is getting done every single day. So in the past, before this whole conflict, look at the graph right here. You have 130 roughly every day, most days, 130 ships, and they carried lots of different things. Oil, dry bulk, gas, other cargo, lots of things were getting exported. And this is leading us, right, to the ticking time bomb, right? The ticking time bomb is this. So people are saying, this analysis by Lucas, he says markets are delusional. We've already lost 30% of fertilizers, 20% of LNG, 14% of oil, 30% of helium. Any one of these on its own would be enough to trigger a crisis. Together, they form a systematic shock that risks pulling the global economy into a serious recession. Because these aren't isolated commodities, they sit at the core of the entire production chains. Petrochemicals lead to fertilizers, lead to food production. They also lead to mining. They also lead to plastics, car, electronics, drugs, rubber, textiles. Helium leads to semiconductors and AI chips. Gas leads to power generation. Diesel, is needed in transportation. So it's not just an energy problem. It's a full spectrum supply shock hitting food, industry, tech, transportation, and power at the same time. Without flows from Hormuz, the system just doesn't slow down. It starts to break. And this is the issue. So this is the ticking time bomb people, need to understand, right? So this thing is going to hit at some stage, even though the markets, and we'll take a look at the live prices of the markets right now, haven't fully realized this. So the longer this drags on, the longer this conflict is not resolved, time literally is running out, not only for missiles and drones and all that type of conflict, but also for the world economy. That's what we're staring down the barrel of. And the foreign minister of Iran, he has come out and he has said this. He has said Netanyahu's criminal trial resumes on Sunday. A region-wide ceasefire, including in Lebanon, would hasten his jailing. If the US wishes to crater its economy by letting Netanyahu kill diplomacy, that would ultimately be its choice. We think that would be dumb, but are prepared for it. And that's got 1.9 million views recently tweeted. So this whole ceasefire hangs on Lebanon right now. So whether we get an agreement, a real agreement, or is this just another fake out that we've seen? We've seen about 3 fake outs right now. So that last ceasefire, guys, another fake out. 3 big fake outs to watch out for. So that is a trend we need to know. Now, another trend we need to understand is how are the financial markets holding up to this? So let's bring it up right now. And US oil, guys, as we said yesterday, not buying the news, but we did see a little bit of a retracement from here from 103 to 93. Now that was getting off some rumors that Netanyahu was negotiating with Lebanon, but we'll see whether that comes true or not. But the trend, look at the trend going back up. The markets are not buying this at the moment, and we're going to see how this plays out. So currently oil roughly about $100, not dropping according to our JD Vance. And if we have a look at the rest of the markets, S&P 500 most likely will open up flat today, which is the 10th of April. And if we have a look at other things, how is gold holding on? So gold is actually looking good. So a longer term time horizon, I'm actually liking this price graph for gold. So, as the fear, continues to climb, yes, we have seen gold sell off, but have a look at this trend that is starting to form. So for the last month or so, it's been snaking back up. So yes, we have seen a big sell off on gold, but have a look at that heading back up. So gold is looking good, and I bet you silver is following. So what is silver doing? Yes, there is a nice trend forming for silver as well. So gold, silver, looking extremely strong. And remember, these are assets that are looking to mitigate other problems in the economy as well. And that has to do with lack of trust for the US money supply, inflation, trillions of dollars being printed out. So, and this stuff is needed in the world economy, especially silver. And you're going to see that play out with other precious metals and also commodities in the market. So that is one area where lots of money is going into right now. And guys, that is your big wrap for today. If you guys have enjoyed it, just like the video, leave a comment if you wish. Appreciate that. And I will see you in the next video.